Well, that's cool. I think you're supposed to put the cord on the inside, but one take, one take. Let's do it. One take, one take. Sorry for the fucking around with the microphone. Sorry for the messing around with the microphone. Come on, Jay, you're on camera. I'm going to post this onto the YouTube. I have a spot, but I can't let that stop me. I have let enough things stop me, and today we are reading an article together. And I've got a blank piece of paper. You can do the same if you like with one of those fancy pens that I used to criticize one of my exes for, but now I understand. Sorry for that. Namaste. Intentions, intentions. Intentions is one of the relationships or outcomes we're researching in the first assignment for my Foundations of Psychology class. Yay, yay. Bouncing in an egg chair. I have recently been diagnosed with ADHD and cannot read. I mean, I can read. I love to read. I'm also a tarot reader. And so we're doing another type of reading here today where I'm sure to go off script to see if I can sit through a reading of this article so I can play it back and hear myself, learn from myself, etc., etc., catching it in real time. The piece of paper is risky in my world. I'm a 5 book preferred gal. Excuse me. um, so I'm sure to know that this piece of paper will eventually end up in the bin. So it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just for jotting down any thoughts that come out so as to not distract me from the one sit read. I have a hair on me. Currently recovering in the middle of a 40-year burnout cycle. A bit dramatic, but my diagnosis is quite fresh, triggered by returning to study at 40 years old. So self-proclaimed, no? I put myself up for analysis. Anyway, so here we are. This is a journal article from Technology, Mind and Behavior, Volume 5, Issue 2, Summer of 2024. It's not that long ago, last year. Tobias Gretemeyer, Andreas Kastenmuller, German. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but just not to me, really, a little bit. A longitudinal. What the fuck does longitudinal mean? Do I need to know that now? I don't need to understand this right now. I'm just reading it. A longitudinal analysis of the willingness, intentions, the willingness to use ChatGPT for academic cheating, applying the theory of planned behavior. Look, I'm writing a longitudinal because I just can't seem to wrap my head around that. Longitudinal. How do I find out what that means without having to get up? Huh. What's her name? Hey Siri, what does longitudinal mean?
Longitudinal means running lengthwise rather than across.
Running lengthwise rather than across. Thank you. Running lengthwise rather than across. So, a lengthwise analysis of the willingness to use ChatGPT rather than across and the willingness to use ChatGPT for academic, the theory of planned behavior. Now, the theory of planned behavior, from my understanding, is a whole. There's lots of study on this. This is a theory that's already planned. No theory of planned, but I'm going to put up a something about that because that's a story for another day and has been told. So it's applying that theory through the lens of these intentions. Okay, we're going to read the abstract first, and then I'm going to go to the conclusions because this is um, where I'm going to be able to see, oh, spoiler alert, to see the conclusion of the study. Then I'm going to read the introduction, and then I'm going to take a pause because that's a huge achievement for me. Don't pause now. Publish on this. Why is this so difficult? Let's see, I feel like I need to burp. I feel like I need to throw up. All of it. I need my fidget. I don't even know what fidget. I don't even have fidgets. I just have things that I've played with because I've been fucking pretending that I was normal. One of those things is a fucking joint. Anyway, I shouldn't be swearing so much. I'm going to take that bit out. Okay. Abstract. Is that too much? Whatever. It's a dramatic effect. Okay. Abstract. It's a bit small. The rise of wow, technology has raised concerns about the potential for these technologies to facilitate cheating behaviors. I can imagine. Shame. Of course, though. It's a gift. This is why we have gun licenses. This is like information licenses. You have to deal with your anger. You can't just shoot people. You know. But I just use ChatGPT to help me write emails that I've been fucking sitting on. That's not all I use it for. I feel like ChatGPT knows. Anyway, shh. Therefore, it is crucial to investigate the determinants of individuals' utilization of chatbot-generated texts in a fraudulent manner. It is. Based on the theory of planned behavior, we investigated antecedents of the intention and behavior regarding the use of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Participants, of which there are 610, n equals 610, participants provided data on their attitudes, subjective norms, perceived behavioral control, and intentions to use chatbot-generated texts for academic cheating. Subjective norms, what people think you should do. Is that correct? Three months later, 212 of these participants, how much is that in a percentage, reported on whether they had actually used chatbot-generated text for academic cheating during the last 3 months. Results showed that attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control significantly predicated intentions, i.e., if they weren't being watched, they would. This is a question of integrity of its highest regard. If you can't use it as a tool, you will look like a tool. You will end up being the tool. It's not a fucking band-aid. Band-aid? That's not a tool. It's a plaster on it. Anyway, it's a brand, Jay. Okay. 3 months later, 220 acne generated test for results showed that attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control significantly predicted these intentions. Intentions in turn predicted future usage. Yes. Importantly, this relationship remains significant when accounting for the influence of past usage of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. These findings underscore the relevance of the theory of planned behavior in understanding academic cheating intentions and behavior, providing insights for potential interventions to reduce academic cheating. I guess that's the link here. Keywords. ChatGPT, academic cheating, theory of planned behavior, disclosures, the authors of this report, license. Okay, so we haven't got the hypotheses yet. No, wait. Does that come in this? Yeah, it will be in the introduction. Oh, I'm learning things. Great. The page numbers are askew, so whatever. Oh, God. Where's page number 2? Oh, that was page number 2. Got it. Right, let's read the conclusion, shall we? In conclusion, the present study shows that the theory of planned behavior can be successfully employed to explain individuals' intentions and to use AI technology for academic cheating, and in turn, the actual utilization of chatbot-generated text in a fraudulent manner. By employing a longitudinal design, God, that encoded quick, didn't it? The title. By employing a longitudinal design, this study establishes a clear temporal order and provides robust evidence that intentions precede and drive future actions. I need to underline that, I think. Not right now. Oh, do it now. Where did it go? Intentions precede and drive future actions. Okay. Yeah, we know better, we do better. We do better, and we know better. I didn't. I forgot to read out loud. Sorry. That intentions precede and drive future actions. Got it. With the influence of intentions on subsequent behavior persisting over time. One more time from the top, please. By employing a longitudinal design, this study establishes a clear temporal order and provides a robust evidence that intentions precede and drive future actions, with the influence of intentions on subsequent behavior persisting over time. Moreover, the finding that intentions remained a significant influence on behavior beyond the impact of past conduct emphasizes the independent and unique role of intentions in guiding subsequent actions and strongly supports the central premise of the theory of planned behavior. The individual's intentions play a critical and influential role in shaping their behavior. By recognizing the significant impact of, oh, this is a linking sentence, I can tell. By recognizing the significant impact of intentions and perceived behavioral control, the use of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating, educators and policymakers can better target interventions to encourage responsible conduct among individuals in academic settings. Like, for example, the university have, like Ask Alfie, the university supplied, powered chatbot. Fabulous. Like I was a bit nervous because it's just uncharted territory, you see, because AI is new. But I have really been relying on ChatGPT, especially since my diagnosis. I just kind of dive in, bought the premium pack the day of. um, it's important timing. And then when I went to started back at uni, I thought, oh God, I can't use ChatGPT. ChatGPT has no integrity in my academic studies. It doesn't have my best interests at heart. It's pulling from the whole pool of information. So what am I going to do? And then when we've been offered this tool, I was like, oh, phew, my integrity is in check. And while I still use ChatGPT outside of it, I've got it all logged. It's more just for elaboration of my thoughts because I sometimes just feel like I need to have somebody to talk to. Intelligent conversation. I'll be honest. Yeah, I have good intentions though, but I don't know that all the people out there. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Okay, so the conclusion is inspiring apparently. Look at me. Okay, let's look at the introduction. And remember, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back, and I think I'm going to do that again because long-winded. I'm looking for page number 3. 3, and then we'll go to 4, will we? 5, 6. Yeah, we're going to read up to the method. Okie dokes. Should we read the abstract again? No. Excuse me. Oh, burping up banana smoothie. Okie dokes. Just going to write, I've got 2 lighters here, no pen. Ask Alvy. Because, I just think it's perfect. Okay. Introduction. It doesn't say that. There's a few paragraphs before the method section. And I think we're just going to read through them, maybe 3 or 4 pages. Here we go. Excuse me. The issue of academic cheating remains prevalent in educational environments and, of course, especially when it's online. And the emergence of sophisticated language models like ChatGPT has heightened concern about their role in facilitating dishonest behavior. The capability to produce high quality text makes ChatGPT an enticing resource for students looking to effortlessly complete their assignments. In addition, its ability to generate text quickly and accurately increases the temptation for students to use it for unethical purposes, such as plagiarizing content or fabricating responses. Okay. Indeed, the widespread use of ChatGPT and similar artificial intelligence (AI) technologies in education has raised concerns about potential harms to students, institutions, and society. Secret society. Students relying on chatbot-generated texts may experience limited learning opportunities, decreased critical thinking skills, yeah, that's what I thought about, and academic penalties for dishonest practices. I don't want to talk about the advantages because we'll get to that, but you have to have a higher level of integrity and a willingness. Like I overdo it on the critical thinking. I could do with an assistant. I don't need to overthink things the way that I do, but I think that it's very questionable for the collective. With great power comes great responsibility, and yeah. But life's complex enough, like anyway, what am I doing? Students relying on chatbot-generated text may experience limited learning opportunities. They say this about everything, though, don't they? Everything new. Who's they? Um, I guess I'm scratching this now. Oh, God. Ease and grace. Students relying on chatbot-generated texts may experience limited learning opportunities, decreased critical thinking skills, and academic penalties for dishonest practices. Institutions risk reputational damage and erosion of trust if academic cheating becomes widespread. More effect. Compromising academic credentials and qualifications. I don't know what voice that was. Finally, society as a whole may be affected by the normalization of academic dishonesty facilitated by AI. Be clear, not by AI, but academic dishonesty. Just dishonesty in general makes me swear. As it could yeah, but what's true for one person is not true for others. My intentions is such an important variable to consider in this, Like I do genuinely believe if people knew better, they'd do better, but people are just ignorant. I just think that because it exists, it's okay, Like just because you have a thought that it's true. It's very dangerous. Hence, it becomes essential to investigate the determinants influencing both the intention and actual usage of chatbot-generated text without appropriate attribution. Attribution, consulting, constituting, constituting an act of academic cheating. Good grief. In the present research, we apply the theory of planned behavior as Gen 1991. Oh, why can't I speak? To understand the physiological factors that drive students' decisions to cheat. The theory of planned behavior postulates that an individual's intentions to perform a specific behavior influenced by their attitudes towards the behavior, their perception of social norms, and their perceived behavioral control. What they should do and what they can do, what they have control over doing. These intentions in turn predict whether the individual will actually engage in the behavior. We thus reasoned a positive attitude. Is this a hypothesis? No. We thus reasoned a positive attitude towards using chatbot-generated text for academic reading. The perception that using chatbot-generated text for academic cheating is socially accepted within one's peer group or academic environment. Is it? Is that, i.e. social norms? And the behavior that one possesses the necessary knowledge and skills to utilize chatbot-generated text, perceived behavioral control, got it, led to a higher intention to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. No one will know. They will fucking know. Well, maybe they wouldn't in the beginning, but they do now. The intention to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating should in turn be the proximal determinant of whether an individual will actually engage in such behavior in future. Yeah, I'm so naive. You know, I don't know if you've seen that video of the cops doing the like triangular synchronized dance to, I think it's Robin Thicke's song. Everybody get nasty. And everyone's in the comments just like, oh, the cops taking a time to have a really joyful breakdown. I'm like, it's AI. How can you not see that that's thousands of people just coming from their conditioned perspective? And I thought, oh no, they need to know. They don't know. And they're not, it's not that you're being misled. You're just ignorant. You need to question everything. Period. Nothing's real. And that's why I love this academic research and um, experiment designs, because you get to come to an outcome, a conclusion that's not ambiguous, or presents a clearer question if there is more ambiguity. The intention to use to examine these, next paragraph. To examine these ideas, participants were asked to report their attitudes, social norms, perceived behavioral control, and intentions to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating during an initial data collection. After a 3-month interview, nobody asked me. Somebody should ask me. After a 3-month interview, oh shit, I've created a knot. They were again surveyed. Okay. After a 3-month interview, they were again surveyed to determine whether they had actually used chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Okay, so they were interviewed in the beginning and then asked again after 3 months. Of particular importance, participants were also queried about their past uses of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating during the first data collection. We postulated that intentions would still be connected with later actual use, even when accounting for the impact of past usage. This pattern of findings would prove strong support for the central prediction of the theory of planned behavior, that intentions determine actual behavior. I was just about to ask about the theory of planned behavior, and it's here. That's what's next. So, without further ado, the theory of planned behavior and cheating behavior. Interesting. The theory of planned behavior aims to explain and predict human behavior, as Jen Armitage and Connor, 2001, 1991. and has been widely applied in various fields, including health promotion, consumer behavior, environmental psychology, and understanding social behaviors. Applied to understanding and addressing academic cheating, the theory of planned behavior would predict how students perceive academic dishonesty attitudes, the beliefs that their peers or the academic environment condone or even encourage cheating, subjective norms, and their perception of their ability to cheat, perceived behavioral control. And their perception of their ability to cheat, if they could get away with it. Okay. Influence their intent. Okay, okay, that it's all influence their intentions and in turn the subsequent actual cheating behavior. And nobody's going to say I cheated though, are they? How they get? Let's just keep reading. A number of studies have tested the theory of planned behavior in the context of dishonest behavior. For example, Beck and Ashzen showed, it's okay, Poppy, they're just walking, showed attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control were related to intentions, which in turn were predictive of actual cheating, lying, and shoplifting behavior. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Using structural equation modeling. Might be a healthier way to say it. Stone et al. 2009 found that attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control were significantly related to intentions to engage in academic misconduct, and intentions were significantly related to the actual cheating behavior. These findings have been conceptually replicated in a study examining cheating behavior during online exams, ABADA in 2022. Okay, so that's to back up that thing they just said. I'm getting the structure of the paragraphs now. Another study from Wang et al. 2022 found that intention to engage in internet ethical behaviors is influenced by one's attitude towards ethical behavior, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. Okay, similar results were Similar results reported in a study that utilized undergraduate students from a Malaysian public university as participants in 2022. In a French context, good, go global, Hendy and Montargo found that attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control explained 33% of variance in academic dishonesty. How do they have a percentage and the others don't? I wonder what their testing method was. Listen to me. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. In cross-cultural research comprising university students, comprising university students from 7 countries, Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Turkey, Switzerland, United States, and New Zealand, attitudes and perceived behavior control significantly predicted students' intentions to participate in academic dishonesty, whereas subjective norms had a relatively minor impact. Okay, I just need to read this bit again. The theory of planned behavior aims to explain and predict pure human behavior. And I need to know more about that because they seem to all have very specific results, so there must be like a theoretical formula. The temporal connection between intentions and behavior. Did I need to write that down? Is there a formula? I just put question X. The temporal connection between intentions and behavior and the role of past behavior. These studies suggest that the theory of planned behavior is a valid and effective framework for. Oh my God, it's going to tell me right now. Oh. Sorry. These studies suggest that the theory of planned behavior is a valid and effective framework for understanding and predicting dishonest behavior in various contexts. On the other hand, most of the prior work had limitations related to the assessment of intentions and actual behavior and the control for past behavior. One limitation is that some of the studies relied solely on intentions and did not assess actual dishonest behavior. Okay, so there needs to be a 2x2 study. That's why. An additional secondary variable. I can't remember what it's called. Check the glossary. One limitation is that some of the studies relied solely on intentions, not assess actual dishonest behavior, while other studies assess behavior without measuring intentions, right? There's examples of those two. that we just talked about before. When actual behavior and intentions and attitudes, subjective norms and perceptions of behavioral control were assessed, a cross-sectional research design, not longitudinal, I suppose, cross-sectional. I think that's what I'm talking about when I'm trying to say 2x2, cross-sectional. I don't know what that means. Research design was typically employed. There's examples here. 2002, Juan Stone et. That is, intentions and actual behavior were assessed at the same time. However, when measured concurrently, the direction of the relationship between intention and actual behavior remains ambiguous or unknown. Yeah, it has an impact, but I don't know about that. Well, that's what it says. As the theory of planned behavior asserts that intentions predict actual behavior, methodologically, behavior and its reference point should be assessed at a later time than the assessment of intentions. Of course, you have, oh, well, you have good intentions, but let's wait and see what you actually do. Using a longitudinal design, I get it. I can't understand my own running. Running lengthwise rather than across establishes a clear temporal order, allowing stronger conclusions whether intentions precede and drive subsequent behavior, and whether the influence of intentions and subsequent actions is enduring over time. Yes. Further advantage of separating the assessment of intentions and actual behavior is the reduction of common method bias, because participants are less likely and able to consciously connect the responses. Yeah. Yes, it's integrity. I always say it's not what you do when somebody's watching, it's what you do when nobody's watching. In these aforementioned cross-sectional studies, this is why I want to watch myself. Is it? Anyway. Oh, God. In these aforementioned cross-sectional studies, the absence of controlling for past behavior is a further limitation. Yes. Prior research has consistently revealed a strong association between past cheating behavior and subsequent instances of cheating. Controlling for past behavior offers several advantages. When predicting intentions from attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control, incorporating past behavior into the analysis can explore the potential influence of additional factors on intention formation that are not fully captured by attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control alone. Yes. Yeah, there is a bit of ambiguity that needs to be accounted for here. When predicting actual behavior from intentions, incorporating past behavior helps to isolate the unique predictive power of intentions in determining future behavior. As the present study utilizes a longitudinal design, it offers further advantage of controlling for past behavior. Notably, Beck and Asgen did assess actual behavior several months later than intentions were measured, and they also controlled for past behavior. However, the small number of participants, 34 versus what did we have, like 600 or something, 200 that came back, who provided the reports of their actual behavior in the second phase, limits the statistical power and generalizability of the findings. Okay, good. Therefore, we considered it essential to conduct a study with a large sample size to ensure efficient statistical power. Boom. In addition, we applied the theory of planned behavior to a novel context, the use of advanced language models like ChatGPT for academic misconduct. Applying the theory of planned behavior to this novel context can extend the theory's applicability beyond traditional scenarios by exploring how attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control influence intentions and behavior in a technologically mediated academic environment. I think I understood that. I mean, 80%. I do have more questions, and Anyway, we've got a couple of paragraphs to go and we're going to take a break. Well done. Thanks for joining me. Shit, have I been carrying up my microphone the whole time? Look, I can't argue with fools. The present research, I forgot to read out loud again. Based on the theory of planned behavior, we hypothesized. Oh, a hypothesis. Everybody ready? Yes, I'm going to change the color of my pen. Blue. Hypothesis feels blue, doesn't it? I think it does. The present research, based on the theory of planned behavior, we hypothesized that attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control would predict the intention to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Good. In addition, we anticipated that these intentions would be the proximal predictor of the actual use of chatbot-generated text for cheating purposes. Importantly, the study incorporates a longitudinal design assessing behavior 3 months after measuring intentions, which allows gaining insights into the temporal dynamics of the intention-behavior relationship. The longitudinal design also allows to control for the impact of past usage of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating, so that the unique contribution of intentions to the prediction of future behavior can be disentangled. Oh, I like that. That's the purpose, is it? I know, I just put an arrow there. It seemed important. We pre-registered aspredicted.org the following hypotheses. Oh, do you register your hypotheses? Oh, if anybody else is working on it, my goodness. Science is a whole other world. Hypothesis 1. Attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control predict the intention to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Hypothesis 2. Intentions, in turn, are the direct antecedent of the actual use of chatbots-generated text for academic cheating, even when controlling for the past use of chatbots-generated text for academic cheating. One more time. Hypothesis 1. Attitude, subjective norms, and perception of behavioral control predict the intention to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Yep. Intentions, in turn, are the direct. What does antecedent mean? Antecedent. Hey Siri, what does antecedent mean?
Antecedent means a thing that existed before or logically precedes another.
Huh. Antecedent, did she say? How did I pronounce it? Hey Siri, can you just repeat that word back to me? Oh,
Sorry, I can't turn on repeat.
okay. Comes before the other. Intentions, in turn, are the direct antecedent of the actual use of the chatbot-generated text for academic cheating, even when controlling for the past use of. So even if you've plagiarized in the past, if you have better intentions or better intentions, integrity, I don't know, I keep saying it. To test our hypotheses, we conducted correlation and regression analyses. Oh, I need to know what they are. Correlation, regression analyses. In ancillary analyses, we report on the results of structural equation modeling that provide a test of the full theory of planned behavior model. According to the model, not only intentions but also perceived behavioral control may directly influence the behavior. Ajzen, 1991. Hence, the full model, attitudes, subjective norms, and perceptions of behavioral control were treated as predictive variables of intention. Okay, right. while intention and perceptions of behavioral control were predictive variables of behavior. So attitudes, subjectives, and perceptions of behavioral control were treated as predictive variables for what the intention might be, right? But intention and perceptions of behavioral control were predictive variables of what actually happened. Okay, the norms are coming into understanding. Nevertheless, given the established precedents of intentions over perceived behavioral control in predicting behavior, our hypotheses focus solely on the direct relationship between intention and future behavior. Clean slate. The study received ethical approval from the Internal Review Board for ethical questions by the scientific ethical community of our university. Certificate of Good Standing, 90 hours. Okay. That's interesting. That's important. Ethical standing. Because it's taken all of that in the model into play, but not allowing it to be a conditioned response for the future. Because this is an early adopting. You know, we've got a chance to shape societal norms here. Well, the participants looks interesting. I mean, the method looks interesting. Everybody in the university was emailed apparently, so this is like a, hey, do you want to be included? Right, I'm going to take a break. It is a longitudinal analysis. I'll be back in less than 3 months. I swear. I promise. I swear. Sukiyaki. By the moon and the stars in the sky. Is that sukiyaki? Anyway, thanks for joining me on this academic-ish read. To be continued. Okay, it's definitely closing time at the market, but I've got this bit and that to go. So I'm gonna dive in. I might put my feet up. Fuck it. Oh, this is so satisfying to complete a task. Oh, that's not ideal, is it? Fuck. Is that better? Look, let's just not put our feet up right now. You gotta eat your vegetables first, Jay. Okay. What are we doing? So what did we say? The finding underscores the limitations of low moment. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Theoretical and practical implications. I need a burp. The water. Excuse me. Appropriate. It's my channel. Theoretical and practical implications. Our findings have important theoretical and practical implications. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. You know, when you've got to hit a word count, you can just repeat the heading. By applying the theory of... Listen to me. I'm going to struggle with this shit. By applying the theory of planned behavior to the domain of academic cheating facilitated by AI, this research extends the scope of the theory beyond its traditional applications. The findings demonstrate that the theory of planned behavior... Okay, we're onto something here. What is that? A feather in my hair? Huh, how did that get there? What does that mean? Okay. Oh my god. The findings demonstrate that the theory of planned behavior's framework of attitudes, social norms, and perceived behavioral control is relevant for understanding complex ethical decision-making behaviors in an academic context. Yeah. The inclusion of past behavior as a predictor of intentions offers insight into the temporal dynamics of intention formation and subsequent behavior. The study demonstrates that while past behavior can impact intentions, attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control, remain primary determinants of intentions. Okay, fine with that. This indicates that the theory of planned behavior can effectively account for people's intentions even when prior behaviors are considered. Similarly, despite participants' prior use of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating being a predictor of future behavior, intention still exerted a significant influence on behavior beyond the impact of past conduct. This finding highlights the independent and unique role of intentions in guiding subsequent actions and strongly supports the key notion of the theory of planned behavior that individuals' intentions play a critical role in shaping their behavior. Overall, the findings provide some support for the theory of planned behavior. Overall, the overall the model's effectiveness in predicting intentions to use chatbot-generated text highlights its applicability in understanding individual behaviors related to AI technology adoption. This validation reinforces the significance of attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control in shaping intentions across various contents, while intentions then serve as the proximal determinant of future behavior. Importantly, the study's design, with a 3-month interval between measuring intentions and actual behavior, offers insights into the temporal dynamics of intentions and behavior in the context of academic cheating. With regard to practical implications, the study's insights can be relevant for educators and policymakers seeking to promote the responsible and effective integration of AI technologies in educational practices. Understanding the factors that influence students' intention to cheat can help educators and administrators identify at-risk students early on. By monitoring attitudes, social norms, and perceived behavioral control, educational institutions can implement targeted interventions to prevent cheating behaviors. Moreover, the study findings suggest that addressing students' attitudes, societal norms, perceived behavioral control, and intentions regarding ethical decision-making in educational settings can play a crucial role in reducing cheating behavior. For example, educators may foster academic integrity by promoting ethical values, promoting support to develop ethical competencies, and creating a supportive learning environment. In addition, integrating peer influence strategies such as peer-to-peer discussions and interventions emphasizing the importance of academic honesty can further reinforce positive norms and discourage cheating. Testimonials. This could encourage students to resist the temptation to uphold academic integrity. Adoption of these tools in a healthy way should be encouraged. Yeah. That's what they will use this study for, I suppose. Limitations and future directions. Let's see what they're going to use it for, hey? Well, it's just so effortless how it just leads into the next section. I'm really enjoying this. I hope that music's not too loud in the background. Don't overthink it now. Limitations and future directions. Despite the significant findings, some limitations should be acknowledged. First, the study relied on self-report measures, huge, which may be subject to social desirability bias. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm socially desirable. Biased. Future research could incorporate objective measures to strengthen the study's findings. Fucking funny. Moreover, attrition led to a reduced sample size. Yeah, I love that word, attrition. At the follow-up assessment, with only 2 out of 212 of the initial 610 participants providing data. You know, it could be good to do like at the beginning and the end of a project like this, for example. Maybe that's what they did. 3 months. I can shut up. Okay. What was I up to? Moreover, attrition led to reduced sample size. However, it is noteworthy that 212 participants who completed the questionnaire at time 2 were relatively similar to the 398 participants who did not, in terms of their attitudes, subjective norms, perceived behavioural control, intention, and past behaviour, implying that their data wouldn't have been much different if there was more people. Is that what they're saying? Nonetheless, it is important to acknowledge the possibility that participants who dropped out of the study differed in categories regards to those who remained. Did they cheat? Another limitation of this study is its single university setting. Aha! which restricts the generalizability of the findings. True, true, true. It would be good to know. Austria, was it? The sample used may have unique demographic, cultural, or contextual factors that limit the extent to which the results can be applied to a broader population. There was all of those other places listed. What was that for? Um, the sample used may have unique demographic. I've read that. In addition to the study's focus on academic cheating, in addition, the study's focus on academic cheating narrows its scope to the academic setting. Yeah, this is what I was interested about. Future research could explore ethical decision-making processes. Yeah, exactly, related to AI use in diverse domains beyond academia. Yeah, and I got lots to say on this. I'm gonna just put a star next to that because yeah. I feel like I've got some research to do in that department. I think I want to hypothesize something there. The present study suggests that the intentions and perceived behavioral control are primary determinants of using chatbot generated text for academic cheating. However, these are certainly not the only predictors. Oh, my head hurts. For example, personality traits have consistently emerged as significant predictors of various unethical and immoral behaviors, including cheating, because it's self-reported. Sorry. Within the honesty, humility, emotionality, extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, openness, and experience model, that's the big five, is it, in the personality traits? For instance, a recent meta-analysis confirms a strong negative association between honesty, humility, and unethical actions like lying, cheating, and stealing. Seven of Swords, tarot card. Another meta-analysis examining the big five personality traits found that conscientiousness is negatively associated with academic dishonesty. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I just got confused because I'm switching my brain when I hear negative. It's quite literally the minus sign, not you're bad. Fuck. Other research focused specifically on the dark side of human personality and, oh God, and found positive connections between all dark triad traits, narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy. 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 Machiavellism, narcissism, dark triad traits, and academic misconduct. Oof. Celebrating, okay, nice one, Spirit. Corroborating these previous findings, recent research showed that honesty, humility, and conscientiousness, both negative, and narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy, all positive, were predictive of the intention to use chatbot generated text for cheating. Some people just don't give a fuck. Integrating personality with the theory of planned behavior offsets the potential for a more comprehensive. I want to be a part of that study. I mean, I want to be in the research team. Personality traits may directly influence behavior regardless of the intentions, thus making a unique contribution to predicting academic cheating. They can also act as moderators in the relationship between intentions and behavior. This means that even with strong intentions to cheat, individuals with specific personality traits may be more or less inclined to act on those intentions. For instance, an individual with high conscientiousness may possess a strong intention to cheat. What? Due to other factors like positive attitudes towards cheating or perceived behavior. But their strong sense of okay, keep reading, Jesus. But their strong sense of duty and ethics could diminish the likelihood of following through on those intentions. Absolutely, I would commit murder if I was allowed. That came out wrong, right? I was being dramatic. I'm not going to, is the point. Like, there's no way. But fuck. Just, I get very upset with people who don't handle their. I look. I dropped some honey on the counter before, and there was a circular selection of ants that had come to the party, and I didn't know how. I don't know how to deal with it. It's still there. That was a lot. I had a moral dilemma about it, and then I left it. I did leave it there for a while, and there was 2 circles, and there was lots of ants, and I just thought they'd put so much effort into getting to that point. Like, what were they trying to do? This honey, you've got to get it. Maybe they clean it up. But the next time I walked through, I was unconscious, and I knocked him. Then I had to clean him up. But I was quite moved by that experience. Why did I lie just now? It's that honesty, humility thing. If you had asked me with space in between, the 3-month interval is an important variable. But I had every intention of trying not to kill them, but I knew I couldn't keep them alive. Like my ethics, strong sense of duty. This has got something to do with autism and ADHD. I wonder if there's a link here between the theory of planned behavior. If that was tested, not just personality traits, but like cognitive functioning. Did I talk about that here much? This means that even with a strong intention, okay, wait, where are we? Due to other factors like positive attitude, but their strong sense of duty and ethics could diminish the likelihood of following through on those intentions. Conclusion. We've read this already, but I've forgotten it. In conclusion, the present study shows that the theory of planned behavior can successfully employed to explain individuals' intention to use AI technology for academic cheating, and in turn, the actual utilization of chatbot-generated text in a fraudulent manner. By employing a longitudinal design, this study establishes a clear temporal order and provides robust evidence that intentions precede and drive future actions. Yes, with the influence of intentions on subsequent behavior persisting over time. Moreover, the findings that intentions remained a significant influence on behavior beyond the impact of past conduct emphasizes the independent and unique role of intentions in guiding subsequent actions and strongly supports the central premise of the theory of planned behavior, that individuals' intentions play a critical and influential role in shaping their behavior. By recognizing the significant impact of intentions and perceived behavioral control on the use of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating, educators and policymakers can better target interventions to encourage responsible conduct among individuals in academic settings. Well, I'll be, eh? Ethics. I'm all about it. The regression model is because the people didn't show up. For the second study? It says in the footnotes, to address the issue of missing data at time 2, mean substitution imputation was employed, replacing missing valuables with the mean of the observed values. The regression model remains significant. Notably, intention significantly predicted the usage of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating, while past behavior also retained its significance. There's lots of numbers there. As Jen, here we are. The theory of planned behavior frequently asks questions, human behavior and emerging technologies. I want to read that. I don't want to get stuck, but I want to read that one. Okay, just read the abstract one more time, then we're going to wrap it up. That's great. The abstract. The rise of chatbot technology has raised concerns about the potential for these technologies to facilitate cheating behaviors. Therefore, it is crucial to investigate the determinants of individuals' utilization of chatbot-generated text in a fraudulent manner. Based on the theory of planned behavior, we investigated antecedents of the intention and behavior regarding the use of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. Participants, 610, provided data on their attitudes, subjective norms, perceived behavioral control, and intentions to use chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. That would have been interesting enough, just 610. 3 months later, 212 of those participants reported on whether they had actually used the chatbot-generated text for academic cheating during the past 3 months. Results showed that attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control significantly predicted the intentions. Intentions, in turn, predicted future usage. Boom. Highlight that. Importantly, this relationship remains significant when accounting for the influence of past usage of chatbot-generated text for academic cheating. These findings underscore the relevance of the theory of planned behavior in understanding academic cheating intentions and behavior, providing insights for potential interventions to reduce academic cheating. Thoughts I'm having. Where else is the theory of planned behavior useful, especially with emerging technology, but um, higher intelligence? There's something about the humility of being replaced by a chat bot thing that I think would present differently in lots of different humans. And another thing I'm considering is ethics, this neurodivergent twang that I need to pull on. Twang, thread, string, whatever, twing. Because the code of ethics, like, I am ruled by my integrity sometimes. My rituals rule me. I don't know how to explain it, especially if I'm emotionally dysregulated, which would happen if you've been traumatized, like maybe as a kid, cheating was a thing. I don't know. You were cheated on. I don't know. It could be a trigger, conditioned trigger, stimulus. As a neurodivergent person, you are navigated the world for 40 years, just going, this is not fair. Like this, everything I see is unfair. It's not, but I just have to accept it because I was the different one. I didn't realize. Um, it's not any more fair now, but realizing my perceived ability of my own behavioral control, what I have to and don't have to comply to participate in the world has since changed. I didn't have very clear intentions in the past of how I moved through life. I was acting on impulse a lot of the time. Yeah, this is interesting because I think the link with ADHD and criminal behavior, theory of planned behavior, there's something else here I want to pull on. Yeah. That was really interesting. I'm going to not get too enthralled in that. I think this is two different readings, two different videos. I'm going to stitch them together and listen to it later. And I wonder if it's too drawn out to be useful, but we'll see. And then I have another article that is required for the assignment, so I'll read that one, and then I will come back to the extra threads I want to pull. And the weird bit of paper with the notes. I guess we'll just leave it at that for now and move on to the next one. Thanks for joining. Hope you found something useful. See you next time.